Shifting to rising tensions between Philippines and China, Philippines, United States and Japan have called on China to desist from further provocative behavior. The national security advisors of the three countries held a trilateral phone call on Wednesday. The three NSAs reaffirmed their decision to conduct close trilateral coordination over the coming months to advance their shared interests in a free and open Indo-Pacific. China claims the South China Sea nearly in its entirety, but an international arbitrary tribunal upheld Philippine sovereign rights in its exclusive economic zone and invalidated China's expansive territorial claims in the disputed waters. Well, for more on the story, we've got Patrick Fok, DD India correspondent, joining us from Singapore. Patrick, good morning. What more details can you share, especially about the call between US, Japan and the Philippines?
Well, I think you summed up the gist of the conversation, which, according to a readout from the White House, was to desist, calling on Beijing to desist from its provocative behavior. The three sides also agreed to strengthen trilateral cooperation, and they reaffirmed their commitment to freedom of navigation in the South China and East China Seas. Notably, they also called on Beijing to honor the 2016 ruling by The Hague, which basically invalidated Beijing's sweeping claims over nearly all of the South China Sea. Now, the call, if you like, is a statement of solidarity really between these countries, because what we heard is not anything that we haven't heard before, but it sends a message to Beijing, and particularly importantly for the Philippines, which is dwarfed by China militarily, that these guys are supporting one another, and it's calling on Beijing essentially to back off.
Well, can you tell us more about, what guardrails are in place to prevent this from spiraling into a conflict?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. And, the U.S. has repeatedly said it's committed to defending the Philippines, its treaty ally. Notably, though, the Pentagon has said that that treaty agreement does not extend to unsafe operations, including things like the firing of water cannon and collisions, which is what we've basically seen of late in some of these incidents that have taken place between China and the Philippines. Now, also, another thing that's interesting over the last few days is the US has said that it is in communication with China and trying to get military-to-military communications back on track. That was something that President Joe Biden had discussed with President Xi Jinping in California just weeks ago, and the Chinese leader seemed open to that. There is some concern about this having been delayed and why these military-to-military level communications haven't restarted already. Jake Sullivan, the National Security Advisor, has said that he's not concerned that the talks haven't restarted yet or communication hasn't restarted. He says it's not a question of when, but he says the bigger question is how the two sides can sustain engagement through ups and downs in the future.
We'll leave it there. Thank you and appreciate you joining us, DD India correspondent Patrick Fok there.